hand. Do you believe that he is a woman?
No. There are two different types of women.
There aren't.
Honestly,
So you do
no.
think he's a woman?
If you stop interrupting me, I will explain. I've never been so badly and rudely treated by any interviewer before you, Julia.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Julian Discourse. Have you ever noticed that the modern left completely falls apart the exact second they face a simple, direct question? For years, progressive activists have redefined biological reality on television simply because nobody had the spine to actually challenge them. But watch what happens in this explosive clip when Julia Hartley-Brewer completely corners activist Peter Tatchell. He tries every deflection tactic in the book to avoid defining what a woman is, and his entire ideology collapses in real time. Hit subscribe and let's get into it.
Safety and efficacy.
Children needing medical treatment. There's no such thing as a trans child. Do you genuinely believe there are children born in the wrong body?
I believe there are children who believe that they are not the
But they're not
gender
born in the wrong body, so they don't need to be treated for something that isn't actually real, do they?
Well, they do if they are genuinely trans, which they are in 99% of cases.
So what's that stat from? Sorry?
Sorry?
What's that? 99% of cases they're genuinely trans. Where's that stat from? What does it mean?
Well, we know from the evidence that puberty blockers have been prescribed with great benefit to thousands.
No, we don't. No, that's not what any of the studies say.
Stop interrupting me. Don't be so rude, please.
No,
Julia.
well, stop saying things that aren't true, Peter.
I let you speak.
Oh, that's very good of you. Stop. When I say something untrue, feel free to jump in.
Okay, well, I'm trying to. There have been hundreds of thousands of young people who've gone through trans treatments successfully and happily in dozens of countries around the world.
There's no follow-up research at all. You can't make that statement. You have nothing to back that statement up for. There is no follow-up at all in most sex clinics, clinics treating kids for this.
The clinics do follow-ups. They monitor.
Did you read the Cass review? Did you actually read it?
Yes, I did.
And yet you're still making those statements.
Yes, and Cass did not say that young people should be denied puberty blockers and hormone treatments. They said they should only be applied with caution, and that is correct.
Because the evidence for them was actually that they were not good children. But okay, I just want to clarify that you believe that 99% of children who are genuinely trans. I mean, no child is born in the wrong body. It's an impossibility. But an awful lot of children seem to think that they are.
I would not use that phrase and have not used that phrase.
Okay.
Do not impose it upon.
Children who think that they are, huge proportion of them are either turn out to be gay or autistic. That's a very strong argument for not giving this sort of absolutely, no turning back treatment to any child, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. And that's why the process is currently, and has for many years, been very slow and arduous. No one is rushed. He goes to a clinic and gets treatment the next day or the next month. It's years and years.
No, that's simply not true. That's simply not true. We know people that has happened to. Honestly, some people may be waiting a long time. A lot of people don't. Right, look, let's come on to another issue. We had that Supreme Court judgment, which didn't change the law. It clarified what the law is now, what it is in the future, and what it has been since 2010 and the Equality Act, which established the rights of women to single-sex spaces, single-sex services and the like. An awful lot of bodies, whether it's NHS hospitals, whether it's Girl Guiding over the weekend and others, have basically said, some theatres and things like that, said, well, we're going to carry on. We believe, they say, respecting trans people's rights, and we are going to continue to allow men who identify as if they were women into the women's toilets and women who believe they identify as men into the men's toilets. Now, that is in breach of the law. Are they right to do so?
Well, first let me say there are two very important issues here: the rights of women and the rights of trans people. We have to find a way, wherever possible, to reconcile them and to ensure that both are protected. Biological sex is a reality. It's very important. Some women are women based on chromosomal sex, and that's correct. Some women are women based on gender identity. That is different, but it's equally valid.
No,
And
no.
I would
The
say,
only women are based on biological sex. And then there are men who either
What is
mistakenly
biological
or
sex?
claim to believe that they are women. But they're not actually women. They're not women in law, and they're not women in practical reality. They are men.
the Supreme Court did not define what biological sex means. Didn't.
What?
It didn't.
So biological. You think that the Supreme Court ruling on biological sex of women includes men who believe they're women?
No, I didn't say that. I said the Supreme Court did not provide a definition of biological
It
sex.
really did.
No, it didn't. What did it? Tell me what
it was very, very clear about women being defined by their biological sex, and we know what the biological sex of a woman is. We know it's from her from her chromosomes. We know what a woman is, and we know what a man is.
Well,
so how can you be a woman if you're a man?
Biological sex encompasses a range of different characteristics, primarily chromosomes, but also genitals, reproductive organs, hormones, and
different ones from men,
and secondary sex characteristics. So there's a multiplicity of things that define biological sex. So sadly, the Supreme Court did not give guidance on what it defines.
No, but it doesn't need to, because we know what biological sex means, and it means I'm a woman and you're a man, and it's blatantly obvious to everyone you're a man, and it's blatantly obvious to everyone I'm a woman because of our biological differences. So how can you claim some women are women? I hate to tell you, I'm not a subset of women. I'm the only kind. Some women, i.e. all women, are biologically women, and some men who think they are women can wear what they want, live their lives as they want, call themselves what they want, that's fine. But they're not women, and they're specifically not women in law. So what should those organisations do where they've been told explicitly by the Supreme Court that the law is, and has always been, that women are only the people who are allowed into women's single-sex spaces and men are not allowed into them, whatever they call themselves, whatever certificate they've got from the government, and whatever they've had done to themselves or not had done to themselves, whatever they think of themselves. What should those organisations now do? Should they obey the law, or should they continue to allow men who believe they are women into women's spaces?
You have failed to provide a definition of biological sex.
Haven't.
The Supreme Court has failed to provide a definition.
You don't know what a woman is.
In law, definitions are very important, so we avoid confusion and we ignore injustices and ensure fairness. But let's that pass.
No, let's not let that pass. I know what a woman is. Everyone knows what a woman is. Even Keir Starmer apparently miraculously knows what a woman is. Do you genuinely believe that a man with male chromosomes, penis and 2 testicles, genuinely, who says, I am a woman, whether they've got a gender recognition certificate or not, that person is a kind of woman?
Well, I have a friend who is intersex.
We're not talking about intersex.
Yes, because you think
we're not talking about
sex.
That wasn't the question I asked you.
You think it's simple. It's not.
There are
simple.
a tiny percentage of people who are intersex, but we're not talking about that. I asked you. You know the question I asked you. Why don't you answer that question?
What are they going to do? What are intersex people going to do with this?
That's not the issue, and you know it's not the issue, because we haven't had intersex people making threats against women and people like J.K. Rowling for the last 10 years.
Most trans people do not make threats against anyone.
Oh, well, you're not on the internet very much then, Peter, by the looks of it.
Yeah, a tiny minority have done bad things, and I've condemned them. I've opposed harassment, abuse, threats, and insults.
But it still keeps coming.
And
apparently a lot of them want to urinate all over us, apparently.
It comes both ways.
Do you think that a man who thinks he's a woman is a woman? That was my question.
Because I defend trans women, I've been threatened with rape, murder, having my house burnt down, and being castrated by people who supposedly are feminists.
Really?
I do not believe.
I've never seen any abuse from that side.
Like that.
Not
all feminists are like that.
Yeah, you don't have to be a feminist for things.
You are keen to generalise.
I asked you a question. Do you believe that a man who is physically intact a man, is chromosomally a man, but who believes himself to be a woman, regardless of how he dresses, what certificate, piece of paper he has in his hand, do you believe that he is a woman?
No. There are
so why are we getting confused then?
I explained at the beginning earlier there are two different types of women.
There aren't.
One based on biological sex.
You just
and one
so you
based
do
on
think he's a
gender
woman.
identity.
So you do
No.
think he's a woman.
If you stop interrupting me, I will explain. I've never been so badly and rudely treated by any interviewer before you, Julia.
Because you won't answer my
I
question.
respect.
Do
I
you
respect
think he's a
you
woman?
entirely.
Yes is the answer,
I
yes?
respect you entirely, but I'm not going to be bullied by you and having you interrupting me when I'm trying to make a reasoned point. I've listened to you with courtesy and politeness.
But you're not answering any of my questions. Is that man a woman? You're saying no, and then you say, but he is a kind of woman. So is he a woman or not? Yes or no?
Trans women are trans women. Trans men are trans men.
So he's not a woman. So he's not allowed in the bathroom of a woman then? Is it? In which case,
that is the problem with the Supreme Court decision and its interpretation by the Equality and Human Rights Commission. They are saying that trans women cannot use the female toilet
because they're men,
and they, in certain circumstances, they cannot use the men's facilities either. So where are they supposed to go?
They didn't say that. They said you should use the toilets of your actual biological sex. They were very very clear about that. They couldn't have been more explicit.
What you just witnessed in that interview was a masterclass in elite evasion. Julia Hartley-Brewer asked a simple fundamental question. Is a man who thinks he's a woman a woman? And instead of giving a straight answer, the progressive activist talked about intersex individuals. He deployed the slogan, "Trans women are trans women." He did everything except answer the actual question because the honest answer destroys his entire ideology. The modern left has backed itself into an impossible corner. They have spent the last decade demanding that society ignore biological reality and reorganize itself around subjective feelings. But the real-world consequences of that radical social experiment are entirely borne by women and children. And to understand why the public is completely exhausted by this gaslighting today in 2026, you have to look at the undeniable timeline. The turning point arrived in April 2024 with the publication of the landmark Cass Review. This devastating independent report officially exposed how activists had hijacked the NHS to push experimental gender transitions, including puberty blockers, on vulnerable children, based on incredibly weak, unscientific evidence. That massive medical scandal was followed by a total collapse of the activist legal strategy. Just weeks ago, in late May 2026, the UK government officially laid out the updated Equality and Human Rights Commission, EHRC, Code of Practice. Following a definitive Supreme Court ruling, this legal framework explicitly confirms that for the purposes of the Equality Act, sex means biological sex, not a self-declared identity. It means that biological women have an absolute protected right to single-sex spaces, and any organization trying to force women to share private facilities with biological males is legally exposed. When progressive activists tell women to surrender their hard-won rights, they aren't showing compassion. They are demanding submission. We must stand our ground and never apologize for defending biological reality. Thank you for watching Julian Discourse. If you refuse to let the establishment rewrite common sense, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one.